Intuition is highly underrated. So, I mean, I literally just called people up last week and said, hey, next week, do you want to go to Winter Park? And we're going to do a mastermind together, and it's going to change your life. That's all that has had to happen up to this point to get 15 people to commit to an experience where they have no idea what's going to happen. But at the same time, they know exactly what's going to happen. And there's going to be a massive shift and transformation in their life.
Yeah, so what I'd like to do, I said, with all my one-on-ones and all the masterminds, I'm feeling, right? I'm feeling like I need to get everybody together. I don't know, it's just what I'm picking up on. I feel like people need it right now. Don't know why it didn't make sense a week ago, but now it makes sense today. But that's just what I'm feeling. I think I'm gonna do a mastermind, and this is intentional, okay? So just bear with me. But I think I'm gonna do a mastermind in 2 weeks here in Denver. It's a pop-up, meaning like it's gonna be in the next 2 weeks. You're the 6th call so far that I've had since I decided. Everybody else so far has been like, just send me the link. Okay, dude.
I'll let you know how it is.
By the way, October 9th and 10th.
Yeah.
I'm doing a pop-up mastermind, and all my mentors, most of my mentors are going to be speaking. So you need to be here. And I just wanted to make it a no-brainer, of where it's like, I'm going to learn from a guy who built a $40 million coaching business. I'm going to be able to talk with Nick and get hands-on training for what I'm doing. I'm going to be able to talk to a guy who runs a $30 million e-com company and learn from him on like systems and processes or whatever.
Do it.
So yeah, that's the idea. All right, dope.
It's on the calendar.
All right, sweet.
I'm here and I'm saying yes.
It's going to be unbelievable. And I already know that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't just say I'm coming because I know it's going to be average. Okay, so I'm coming to blow up and to be blown up, right?
Yeah, dude.
So,
You know, to a lot of people who are choosing to come out to a mastermind 2 weeks ahead of time with zero agenda, how do they convince their spouse that that's the right thing to do? How do they convince their kids that mom or dad is going to be gone for the next, 3, 4, 5 days? What do they say? Because my invitation was simple. I'm getting together some of the best people that I know so I can help you have the best year of your life. You want to come? I don't need direct response advertising. I don't need a funnel. I need to be faithful with what I know to do in the season of life that I'm in. And most people can't say that.
Pick up the litter, against the strongest I'm alive and remain a victor. My battle scars that show that I am far from a quitter. Went through it all and I'm still striving, that makes me a winner. When it's me versus the globe, with my back to the wall, when at my lowest of lows, still I put up a brawl. Was never in me to fold, never in me to fall. So when my story is told, they'll say I gave it my all. Raised in the jungle, struggle, still I survive. Came from the rubble, so you know my stars align. For me to be on top of the world before my demise, I put it all in my mind, whatever I want is mine.
Thank you guys for coming out and being here. It is going to be a very important weekend for all of you. And I don't just mean that for like individually, but I think there's something collectively that we'll learn together. And I also think there's something individualistic that each of us will download or experience or gain. So you are all here on purpose. What do you think about a couple things? Number one, you can be anywhere in the world, but you're here. And number two, there's over 8 billion people on the planet, and these are the people you're around. I want you to carry that with you through this weekend, because I just think that what's important is that we notice what's different about shifts we need to make, about big ideas that we want to lean into, and things that we're going to learn. So some of this weekend will be rather intuitive, right? You guys know how I operate. Most of you, well, all of you, decided to come here in 2 weeks. Why? Well, because you know there's something waiting for you. Well, readiness is the most underrated value when it comes to someone who's ready for a level of transformation in their life. It's readiness. You know, you only can move someone like a half a degree in readiness. I don't spend time and I don't waste time convincing people of shit. I have zero desire to convince anyone of anything. But what I do have is, for the right people, I give them opportunity to say yes to themselves. I'm all about being the right person in the right place at the right time. That's what I try to find in my life. And when life goes too fast, a lot of times I miss that. I miss that connection point. I miss presence in the way that it needs to be developed so that I can help someone really hone into that breakthrough that they want in their life. Because most people can't even define what they want. They can tell you what they don't want, but they can't tell you what they do want. You know, I made the invite to more people than who showed up. And I feel for them today because they didn't get the breakthrough potentially that was sitting there waiting for them because they let life get in the way, they let excuses get in the way. I think that in life we have to be better at destroying the excuses that we have, finding a way to make a way. And that is the entrepreneurial way. There's a lot to receive and there's also a lot to experience and give. So that's what I want to kind of carry as a theme through the weekend. And I want you guys to think about contribution and acceptance of gift. Belief is the thing that most entrepreneurs struggle with. It's not skill. A lot are ridiculously skilled, but they don't believe that they can actually accomplish the things that they want to do. And to me, that's a tragedy. And that's what I'm here to fix.
The gifts that we have, that are God-given, cannot be diluted. And the minute they become diluted is the minute you stop doing what you were gifted to do.
Yep.
Because dilution of your gift is bullshit.
So fucking true. This is the assembly of the Avengers. You all have your own individual giftings, and you lead other people who have similar giftings as you. It's incredibly sad to me when I see it because I have young kids. Kids who are in school and get bullied, or kids who are in school and it's not edifying. They're making fun of one another. They're not really leaning into what's great about an individual and what makes them unique. They're rather creating tribes around them that suppress their ability and their gifting and what God created in them. And to me, that's of the ultimate injustice. It's not the sense of bullying or the sense of someone being oppressed. It's the sense of someone else stealing their gift. And the thing that they once felt like was the most valuable part of who they are has been turned into a prostitute gift that just they're willing to give for nothing to someone who doesn't care. And that to me is the biggest fracture in humanity. That is it. People's gifts get graffitied on and they get stomped on the ground and they get destroyed by people who never cared in the first place. And then people lose their sense of value of why they're unique and special. We're not meant to be the same. We're meant to be who we are. And that's what I want to see happen. But this is good. This is the point. This is good. So if you dream, use your creator mind. Imagine, right? You and I have done some of this fun stuff. If you had to just think about the creative version of you, unattached to business outcomes, just the creative version of you, what would that look like for you?
I'm a really good behind-the-scenes person. I help successful people be even more successful.
Well, there you go. I write that down. And so there's an aspect for you of coaching, and in the sense of creator, you're probably in that form of mechanic or supporter when it comes to like the confidence on camera stuff, right? And the opposition that we have felt for you has been around the big idea that like it's becoming a commodity. Your gift is a thing that cannot be commoditized, which is a lot of times rooted in the personal brand because you're an individual, not just a product. And that's why people pay a lot more money for that. And a lot more transformation happens because they're investing into something that's greater.
Part of the real strength, I think, of any coach, and especially you in front of the audience that you are, is whether it's painful or not, is allowing yourself to be evolved in front of an audience as it's happening, and let those people that you're mentoring witness that evolution. For that, there is nothing that can replace that kind of transparency and build trust in an audience.
So I always say, like, part of my mission is to tell the greatest entrepreneurial stories ever told because, dude, there could be a movie about every single entrepreneur in the world. Because the amount of stuff that we go through and put up with in the process, you're committed to the highest version of yourself. So there's no like quit and then that's the end of the story. You can't, if you have the blood, you can't do it.
Today we framed as intellectual, okay? So we're talking about intellectual things when it comes to sales processes, when it comes to different things within your business that you might be facing or up against. Tomorrow we're gonna lean very heavily into the intuitive side. It's gonna be a very different feel tomorrow, and it's gonna be a lot more like going inward and starting to dig stuff out. And Robert's clearly primed a lot of that this morning. But yeah, so I think that's gonna be really strong, and that's how we'll end up finishing out the weekend. It's more the intuitive spiritual conversations around gifting and ability and how, for example, claiming your power has to do with you reconnecting to your source and to your creator. So what does that look like? In what ways are we not doing that in our lives? What can we learn around the systematic parts of flow that we can start implementing so that we can stay in alignment and actually like go do our best work? We don't want to just do work. We want to do our best work, right? Fair to say. So that's some of the stuff we're going to talk about. So just quick reflections. Let's just kind of go around the room really quick. After hosting over 1,000 live events, I've noticed that experiences are containers of transformation. And most people just don't think of it that way. They think they're going to an event. It's very logical. To me, it's rather metaphysical in a way. It's you're ascending to a different place in space in order to experience something quite different from the mundane and the consistent in your life. And that's where true change can take place. It requires, as Robert White uses in his ARC methodology, it requires awareness to be of a higher level in order for responsibility, personal responsibility to take place, which then happens in the form of communication and change. So my thought was, if I can get people to transcend to a different place in space, somewhere they've never been, somewhere where energetically it's something that they've never experienced, how could I get them into that environment and be the one who sets the temperature in that environment to then welcome in higher awareness, higher responsibility, and a higher sense of communication, open communication with the people that they bring, whether it's their spouse or their business partner or their mentor or whoever it may be. And that's what happened, transformation happened.
Nick is so good with gifts and helping me see where that gift can be.
My expectation coming into this mastermind was to really let something profound find me through connecting with other amazing, incredible leaders, entrepreneurs, visionaries, that the only way that I know to fill up in that way is through direct human contact, to be connective and reflective in that way. And so this weekend was all about letting myself be filled up by other amazing people.
I knew I was going to be surrounded by pretty awesome people, and that was the only expectation that I had, is like just being in a room with really cool people that I could learn a lot from. I've known Nick for a bit, and I just knew that when he had this event, I had to be here, had to be in the same room.
I was really holding on loosely to what this weekend had for me, and my husband here with me as well. Just knowing that there was something here for us, not specifically what it was, and I think having that loose attachment, non-attachment to it, was what has brought some really cool takeaways and feelings and things that we're going to take back home into our business and our life.
I came because it was Nick, number one, and number two, because I knew that he was going to bring together a really good group of people. And Nick is kind of like the intuitive entrepreneur, and my intuition was telling me that there's something here for me to do. So my expectations of the weekend are some kind of transformation.
So yeah, hope is to step more into like the full embodiment of who I can be, rather than playing it safe, the comfort zone, right?
Whatever I kind of maybe thought was going to happen is 10x. I mean, the relationship, the breakthroughs, you know, what I've learned, the people that I was surrounded with here, it's just, it exceeded my expectations.
To hear Nick, to share a little bit about his journey, it reminds me that we all have a journey. And I'm so grateful and humbled to be able to walk with Nick through his journey, because it helps me to reflect upon someone doing that for me and helping me to get up the mountain. And so I love the fact that I got to be here today and meet really incredible people who are passionately trying to figure out how to get to the next level.
So fundamentally, why I'm coaching with Nick and why I'm in the space is two reasons. One is because it's showing me exactly the kind of people that I am. By hanging around these people and being in this, it's not that I'm trying to attain or trying to emulate or be like. This invitation is to be in the fold of those people who are like me, right? And I am here and want to leave with a kind of trajectory and a velocity that I've always known, that I have a really high calling. I've known this my whole life. It is really, really large, and I no longer just want to saunter into that. I want to step the fuck through that, 100%.
Did I ever tell you guys a story about Circuit City? Did I ever tell you guys this story?
I think you did.
I might have told you, Neil. Yeah.
Yeah. You told me this, but go ahead.
I was a top 3 salesman in Circuit City in the entire company when I was 17.
That's insane.
And I worked part-time. So the fact that you guys are bringing up sales is so interesting because my brother worked with me too, and he was 3 years older than me, a lot smarter than me, but he didn't understand people. And he'd be like, I would tell them, he would come home and be like, Dad, such bullshit. Nick sold $25,000 tonight. He was there for 4 hours. It's fucking bullshit. And I don't understand how he does it. And he sold like $500. And he's like, I tell everybody, here's why you need it. Here's what you need. Here's all the specs. Here's all the stuff. And my dad goes, they don't care about that. All they care about is to be reaffirmed on what they want. Oh, yeah. And remember, my dad was a drug dealer, so talk about a salesman.
Yeah, right.
But it was the interest, and my grandfather was, from the time that he was like 12 until he was 85 years old, ran businesses that were all based on sales.
Yeah.
But it was always, my grandfather always told me, it was based on it was 100% the people business. But when I was like 5, I would answer the phone at my grandfather's house all the time. Hello, whatever. And my grandpa would say, you're gonna be a star. You have the understanding about people that most people don't get. The moment I start serving and stop selling, everything changes. And you have to shift your mind from transactions to transformation and just know that you're playing a different game. That's why money pulls us out of alignment. Money has the power of crazy duality to either hang us or to propel us. And it's the unfortunate noose that really suffocates so much vision. But a lot of times what happens is we're chasing, right? Our fear of going and facing the problem perpetuates longer and creates more problems and also more money problems. So let me ask you this. How long have you guys been running away from that problem? Like, let's just solve this shit while we're here, because otherwise we walk away, we don't have clarity. The alignment and the vision, the common mission, and how you guys work as a team to solve it will end up solving the money situation. Because you're not in conflict when you have a common mission, because you guys have alignment on what you're trying to accomplish. For you guys, the alignment, the vision, the common mission, keep finances out of that conversation first. Find positioning on how you guys are gonna go towards that collective problem, then talk about money. Talk about money first, it's just gonna explode.
I think we should give some applause to Nick for the couples therapy.
Remember, if you wanna fix your marketing, fix your marriage, right? What I understand that I do is I give people audacious faith to go chase after their dreams. I give people the ability to adopt my confidence in them when on a dreary day they can't see it for themselves. When someone sees themselves as a D player, but I know they're an A player, I just tell them, you're an A player. Why? Because here's what I see in you. Here's what's possible for you. Tony Grebmeyer is very much for me a mentor, because we talk around kids and we talk about relationship and we talk about business. And then, Chad's been high performance for me. He breaks my mind of what's possible, because it's like Star Trek. He's so far ahead that he's just like, yeah, dude, that's just, and that's bullshit. And this is what's for real. And I'm just like, he eliminates the excuses so fast because he can shortcut what's reality. So, and then you look at, consultant, Mike Kim for me is more of a consultant. So Mike is like, do this inside of your business, do this thing, right? So there's this kind of finding where even you fit in that mixture. That's been the thing.
Like, why are you doing this, Master?
Because I just feel like I'm supposed to. The reason why I'm doing this is because I know that I'm supposed to do it.
Furtick said this thing the other day, it was really powerful. He said, a lot of times we want God to give us the solutions like holistically. Like we want the whole answer. But what he does is he gives us the next step.
Yeah, oh man.
And leaves out the finish line on purpose, because when we know the entire journey, we don't need him. Of just realizing that, like, at the end of the day, God gives us bits and pieces, and when we don't listen to what he says last, then he does not forward advance us until we do what he already said. So then you're stuck, and that's usually where people like you, myself, where we oscillate, is in that feeling of, what am I supposed to be doing? And the answer, Cam, every single time is, go back to what God told you last. When you feel like you are not capable, you are not enough, you've got to go back to, I know that I'm not. This is not about me.
Yeah.
You're never meant to carry the burden. To give it back and then just move on. And just be like, well, you know what? So here's what I started doing, very literally. Every day is its own. Every day is its own. Tonight fucking sucks. And that's okay. And so, but tomorrow's not going to.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to shut it down. I'm going to extract. I'm going to trust. I'm going to get inspired. I'm going to do whatever I have to do. Even if I have to be grumpy for 2 hours just to have the moment. That's fine, but tomorrow's going to be different. Because today has its own problems and tomorrow has its own. And I just need to deal with today. And so today is going to suck, and oh well. Anxiety happens when we feel like we have to solve everything at once. I've found that alignment provides and reaps the greatest reward. And so for me to be in alignment with myself, and if I get a download that I believe is necessary, I have no idea what's going to happen in the next week or two. I have no idea. But I can nearly guarantee you that it's going to be something that, because I trusted my instinct and my gut, I trusted my, I don't even know everybody who's coming. Watch what happens. Overwhelming anxiety, let's call it debilitating. You have no traction, you have no clear thought, you have no powerful stance. It's very specifically because you're trying to solve a puzzle of 10,000 pieces today.
Yeah.
And that's not how it works.
If someone was considering coming to one of Nick's masterminds, I would say the first thing that you need to know is that you will be asked to show up, like fully show up. If you're looking for the latest marketing strategy, if you're looking for sales tactics, or some of the strategies and tactics behind scaling a business, I'm not gonna say you won't get that here, because I think you will. But if you're expecting it to stop there and you wanna protect yourself, then you probably should stay home.
The heart-centric nature, the focus on people and the soul of what it is you're doing, that's wrapped up in the why, that at the end of the day, all the success in the world doesn't make a difference unless we have that. So the embodiment of that within this context is what I'm here for.
Scratch the check. Like, just do it. Like, do it. Don't hesitate. I'm sure you're probably sitting there thinking, there's all the reasons why I can't get to the event, why I shouldn't pay for the event, why I don't want to go to the event. All those are lies. Scratch the check and get here, because you're going to be changed.
So if you're looking for depth, if you're looking for like real connections that don't just fade away after a weekend, then this is definitely the place to be. If you're looking for being understood by a group of people who are in the same boat as you on a whole new level than you've probably ever experienced in any internet marketing container, this is the place to be.